I'm Scott Allen Miller. It's the 23rd of July, 2021. This is Sheep Guarding Llama. Welcome to the show. And today is the culling of the cocos. You don't really get to see this every day. So this is something special here in Nicaragua. They are climbing the trees, just like you see in the movies. It's shimmied up the whole way. And you can see we've got tons of coconuts down here that have come from the trees, and they prune the fronds. So there's a lot of fronds coming down, and yeah, this is pretty cool. This is the first that this has happened since we've been here. Every so often a coconut will come down, we'll have some coconuts, but this is like actually harvesting the coconuts and doing the tree maintenance and stuff to, I guess, make them taller? I don't really know. But that's a lot of coconuts up there. Like each tree must have in the 20 to 30 coconut range. This is these two trees here they've been up doing, and all these coconuts are from them, and there's a lot of coconuts still up there. That's there's on YouTube. YouTube.
YouTube.
See? It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and the rumor is they're going to be opening the estuary here in just a little bit. The crew is out digging right now. There's a number of people from the community, not a lot by any stretch, but a number of people from the community working their way out here to see what's going on. So we are walking up right now, and we're hoping that the weather's good. Right now it's beautiful. The sun is covered with, there's clouds covering, so there's no direct sun, which makes it quite pleasant. It is a beautiful walk, and the only fear is that is definitely rain coming in from southern Leon, and it might come here. We might end up in a downpour, or it may stay clear. And I don't know if you can see it in the video, but behind me, the air is clear enough that you can see the volcanoes today pretty well. San Cristobal and its two sibling volcanoes hanging out there on the horizon. And of course, I'm standing here at the ocean. Woo! But it's a beautiful day, beautiful weather. It's nice that we're able to come out. This morning when I came out, it was so hot and sunny, it was gonna be painful. But as long as it holds like this, we could be out here all day. It's absolutely gorgeous, and enjoying the ocean and the operations, and hopefully they have this open soon. But we're guessing it's gonna take quite some time, and there's always the possibility that they don't manage to open it today and they have to wait for the next low tide. But I think they're racing pretty quickly, because if they don't quite make it for low tide, I think bad things happen. So they really wanna get it done. So we're gonna be checking in on that operation any second. All right, I'm filming this adventure outside. I actually have to use, because I currently don't have a microphone set up on my computer, I'm actually using the GoPro to record the audio portion of this. But so the turnout at the estuary today was really good. I mean, fantastic. It seems like the entire village has come out. Of course, that's not true. We're a village of 3,700 people, but we had well over 100 people from the village came out to see the opening of the estuary. And considering the fact that all of the restaurants and all the hotels in town, which are the major employers, plus, you know, the shrimp and fishery, all of those things are still open and operating, right? There's a lot of people on a Friday night who have to work. So the number of people who are able to come out and do something like this is pretty limited, and to still have 100 people turn out of all ages. There are kids who came down and are swimming in the estuary. There's families, there's couples, there's a lot of our own staff has come down, which is really cool. So we had people from like every different, I don't know if department's the right thing, but every different part of the hotel and restaurant are here hanging out and watching the whole event taking place. And everybody went down about the same time. We all were able to get out of the hotel around 4:30, and we headed down, and it was a really cool experience with just seeing the community come together, right? Like, that's really, really cool, and on its own would be a lot of fun. It's also neat. It's not very often that you get to see something like the estuary getting open and all this heavy equipment coming in, especially in a place like this. And building what is essentially a new river, obviously not very long, but digging out and then bulldozing the path of a brand new river that's going to come through here, and it's going to be used partially for the ocean to bring in fresh water and oxygen to the estuary. That's one really important piece of this, and also it is the egress point for the fishermen heading out to the ocean, because all of the boats are kept on the estuary. So there's probably a good 40 or 80 somewhere in that range of boats that sit on the estuary, and they need to be able to go out to the ocean to do the serious fishing, because the majority of fish don't come from the estuary. They actually come from the ocean, and this is all of the fish processing and all of the traditional livelihoods. This is a fishing village, and this is the way that the boats get to the ocean. So a lot of fishing has come to a halt while waiting for this to be completed. So this is a very important project for a lot of reasons, and we should see the boats going out again tomorrow. But it was a great time, and just getting to see the bulldozers and everything working, and it was a beautiful day. We got out there, like I said, pretty close. By the time we were actually out there, it was pretty close to 5, which meant in the 2 hours that we were out there, we got to see the sun come down in a beautiful sunset over the beach and over the estuary, with all the equipment and all the people. That made for an awfully unique experience. It's too bad that our girls didn't want to come down, but someone has to stay with the dogs, so it's not as easy as it seems to have them come with us. And given that we didn't know how long we were going to be outside, we didn't know what the weather was going to be like. It could have been much hotter. The sun could have come out. We could have been caught in a downpour. And it may have been a really long time that we were going to be outside, and it was, right? We originally thought it might have been 30 minutes, it might have been an hour, but it really was much closer to 2 hours, which would have been pretty boring. Most of the kids that are there all know each other from school. They all speak Spanish, so everybody's hanging out and playing. Our girls would have been very much the outsiders and very hot, and just a lot of unknowns. So they opted to stay home and stay with the dogs, which just made the whole thing a lot easier for everybody. And while I think they would have enjoyed seeing it, they would not have enjoyed the very, very long walk to get there and the very long walk back, and probably enjoyed very little of the time that they were actually there. So it was just best that they didn't go with us. But overall, this made for just a very exciting day. It was neat having so much going on in the community and so much to see and watch. And I hope you enjoy the videos that we took, because I think these turned out really well. Of course, it's not super exciting to watch for an extended period of time, but I wanted to include enough that you could really get a view of the village and the beach and the estuary, and see what it looks like, and see the construction at work. So the problem with going everywhere to get the best shots of the beach is that I don't actually have a way back. They've cut me off from the other side of the beach. So it's done though, it's open. There's a lot of people out here, which is super cool. This is like the big community event of the month, of the season. There are hundreds of people out here. They've been out here all evening watching this heavy equipment open up the channel for the San Juan Venado Estuary is really cool. It's really interesting. We got the 2 bulldozers, we got the front loader out here moving unbelievable amounts of this beach, and just so many people out here. I've never seen anything like it here in this area. We've got just loads of people all the way down the beach. Each side of the estuary is just packed with people watching. All the kids are out, people are out on dates. Like this is really interesting to see just how many people came out to see this happening in the community. It's very, very cool. Alright, I need to try to sneak by and get back over to the side that I actually live on. But of course, there's a lot of water coming in, so this is easier said than done. One thing I love about doing this in Nicaragua, if this was the United States, they'd have everything roped off. You'd never be allowed to get close. Here we're like in on the action as we do everything. Alright, I'm turning this around so you can see. Oh, the ocean just came in. Crap, I'm in the water. Well, there you go. So that made for a really interesting afternoon. We were down for probably about 2 hours while I did all that filming and took probably about 50 photographs. Yvonne did a bunch of filming and photographs as well. It was very interesting. We had a nice time, but it was not hot. The weather was actually really great, but it was really humid. And then with a lot of walking on the beach and walking around to take pictures and all the humidity, it did get pretty warm. So we were pretty tired. So we walked back. So it was a couple miles of walking by the time we went down and back and all around. So it was kind of an exhausting afternoon. I definitely got my steps in for the day, and they're beach steps, which count for extra because the sand is so hard to walk on. It's almost like doing steps, stair steps, that is. So that was good for the exercise, and luckily it stayed overcast almost the entire time. Got a truck coming by, of course. The sun was behind the clouds basically the whole time, so we didn't have to worry about getting too burned or anything, so that was great. And the whole thing went well, and we heard that it is working. It's going to take a little while before they really know how good it is, whether the boats are really able to get in and out on a regular basis and all that, but overall it seems like the whole project has gone really well. We came back home, everyone was really tired, we all showered, needed a little bit of time to relax, and then for dinner we did paella leftovers. And tonight originally it was a seafood paella. I'm not exactly sure how the leftovers work, but there's no seafood in it, and it was just fish, and then we added fresh vegetables. So it was a fish and vegetable paella, and with it having sat for a couple days, it really soaked in the flavor because it's a rice and fish dish. So it's one of those things where it actually is better after a day or two than it is fresh. And it was fantastic. Best paella any of us had ever had, I think. Definitely the best paella that I've ever had. And I don't know what they did. They just went down the street, turned around, and came back. So that was our evening, and we really had kind of a pretty early, pretty relaxing evening. We just did dinner, got the kids fed. They didn't go with us. They stayed home with the dogs. I played a little bit of Genshin Impact with the girls, and then we were off to bed. Now tomorrow, we've been invited to go out to the estuary with Lido, who is probably in some of the videos at some point today, to actually do a real tour of the estuary, which lots of people do. It is the tourist thing to do here, but we're gonna go out and do some filming so that we can do social media of the estuary. So we're going to be taking the Lumix, we're going to be taking the Nikon, we're going to be taking the GoPro, we're going to be taking a couple camera phones. We're going to have a lot of stuff with us and hopefully get a lot of good material. I've never done the estuary, so it's going to be really interesting. So that's at roughly 3 o'clock. At roughly 3 o'clock tomorrow that we'll be doing that. And so that is our big thing. It's going to be a very hot, very long day as we are out on a boat doing all of that. So I will see all of you tomorrow on Saturday the 24th, and you get to see how that adventure went.